Do people come to the beach for swimming in Barcelona in March and April? I've been getting a lot of these questions lately, especially within the March video about whether or not people are coming over to the beach in March. Even getting into April, I still think it's a little bit too early to be getting into that water. While the temperatures are getting a little bit higher, you're still going to see people over at the beach, but not maybe getting into that water, with that water being much, much colder. Now, today it's 20 degrees. We're filming at the beginning of February. This is not normal. Obviously, getting into March and April, it will be a lot warmer. But realistically, March, probably not going over to the beach at all for swimming. April, you might start to see people taking those first dips into the sea. But realistically, going over in March and April for the beach, for swimming specifically, I'd probably say no. Still, you've got to think that people are going to the beach all the time. Having that beach right here in the center of the city is an awesome little tool to have, and people are always doing all sorts of different activities. Keep in mind that high season, and realistically the time the beaches are the most populated, is between May and September. Today I'm doing another Q&A where I'm answering your questions about Barcelona and Spain in general. I've been getting a lot of different questions in the videos through direct messages over on Instagram, and I've even incorporated a new form down below that you can find in the description if you want to send a question directly to be answered in these Q&As. We've got a lot of different questions from a lot of different things, so I hope I can help you out with all of them. But stick around to the end because I really liked the last question that I have that should help out some people with a topic that I think is pretty interesting when you're over here in Spain. Basemate House, what would you say is the best district in Barcelona for families? You've got a lot of different districts and neighborhoods over in Barcelona. Barcelona is really divided into 10 different districts right now. In terms of for families, what I would recommend is getting just outside of the center into kind of the peripheral of those parts of the city. Poplano is a really good one. I've done a couple live streams and some videos over there, but it seems to be a much more kind of familiar area. A little bit less tourism when you get over there. And you can also try out places like Gracia. I've got a lot of friends that live over there, and it seems to be maybe a little bit more separated from that tourist center. One other place that you can definitely get over to is outside of the city, and they've got Sant Cugat, you've got Castelldefels, which are really nice areas. Noir Nomadic, do they ask for bank statements or financial proof upon arrival to Barcelona? Got a couple of those questions as well. I've actually done an entire video about it, and I wish I could give you a better answer, but one of the things that they say when you're coming over to Spain is that if you are entering from outside, you may have to show proof of a bank account or something like this. Usually, it looks like most people are not getting asked at all. I haven't really ever heard of anybody that has been asked to do it. I only had one person that actually responded that said that they had, but I never heard anything back after that. So if anybody else has any information about a personal experience where you actually, and not one of those kind of where you heard of somebody else doing it, but a personal experience of you actually having to show your different bank account information or something, that'd be really helpful, I think, for the community and for everybody coming over to Barcelona and Spain. Elena, what's the best restaurant for Valentine's Day, and do you need reservations? I think realistically for Valentine's Day, you should probably make a reservation no matter what. One of the worst things I think that could happen is that you went over to a restaurant with your significant other and you didn't have that table that you thought you were going to. So it's not a big thing. One thing you need to keep in mind in Barcelona, it's not a big celebration. The real big kind of like Lover's Day or Catalan Valentine's Day, if you will, is actually on April 23rd. So February 14th isn't going to be this big thing. If you kind of go on Google, you will see some searches for people looking for different restaurants and everything, but it's not one that there are a bunch of offers, and we're even just a couple days away at the time of filming. Some places that I would definitely check out if you're interested is going over to Mirablau, which is up on Tibidabo. You've got some beautiful views of the entire city. And if you want to stay more into the center, one place that has more of a nice sit-down restaurant is La Fonda. I've always really liked that for its nice menus, and it usually has different menus for those special occasions as well. Fuzzy McMuff, Spanish schools you recommend and best way to find a room to rent. I think the easier one to answer first is actually the best way to find the room. I always use Idealista or something similar to that. That's a great way to find different places all around the city. They've got a lot of different offers, and I think it makes it easy to pick which area of the city you want to be in. So Idealista, probably the best way to find a room to rent. As far as Spanish schools, I haven't used really too many personally. Some of the bigger ones in the very center of the city are BCN Lip, and I know a lot of people that have used that. Some friends of mine have used Dime. Dime, it's a very, very popular one. And then there is a newer school, which is NL College, that I've been seeing a lot about. They've been doing a lot more on social media, so they're really trying to kind of open up and I think get a little bit more of a presence in Barcelona and Madrid as well. So check those out and see if that helps you out. Rolo for Life is asking, would you ever do a video about Ibiza? I'm never against it, never would be against it. I've actually never been over to Ibiza, so it would be more of an exploration kind of video for me as well. Take you guys along, maybe a little bit more of a vlogging style or anything. But I'm always interested in what kind of places you want to see and other things around here, not just Barcelona, but in Catalonia as well. So remember to leave those comments below if you're interested in seeing some other places just outside of the city that we can go and explore together. Scott Odin is asking, is Park Guinardó worth the trip? Gonna depend on kind of what you're looking to do. It is a park just on the outside kind of Barcelona and everything. So you've got all sorts of different options. I know a lot of people like to go over to Tibidabo, and then in that whole Cosarola mountain, you've got a lot of different options. I have the one video where I went over very close by to find a very, very famous swing in one of those hills, but it offers, when you get out there, what all those places offer are some really nice views of the city, a little bit more quiet and everything, but if you're looking to go for hikes or anything like that, then I would definitely say, yeah, head on over to Guinardó and you can check it out. It is a little bit of a different area from the city, so it'll give you a different experience from it. Steve Weaver is asking, what's your favorite southern Spanish city? I know Steve is coming back on over here, I think next year or maybe later in the fall. So hope to see you again, Steve. But one of my favorite southern Spanish cities is actually Cordoba. And that's one that, if we're talking about doing videos in Ibiza or anything like this, I would love to do a video over in Cordoba, kind of similar to the Malaga video. I don't know if you guys have seen that already, but getting over into Cordoba is a beautiful, beautiful place. Not so big, so you can do a lot in just one day, but what they have is their Mezquita Cathedral, which is a mosque cathedral, which is absolutely incredible to go in and check out, and then realistically just walking around the city, and the food is absolutely incredible. I had some really good times when I've been over there, and I can't wait to get back. Kiet is asking, Patrick, love your videos. Thank you very much. Can you do a 2-day trip in Madrid? And I don't know if this is really asking if I can go over and do a video of a 2-day trip in Madrid. I do have one already on the channel, which is just Madrid in 1 day, realistically 12 hours. Getting over there very early in the morning and getting back very, very late to let you know kind of what you can do. You can take that video and kind of split it up so that you're not running around like crazy, because in 1 day it really is an awful lot to do. Trust me, I was absolutely exhausted the very next day, but you can definitely do Madrid in 2 days from Barcelona. I've got a lot of friends over there that would argue that you need a lot more time, but it is something that is definitely worth it. But take that idea of the video that I have in just 1 day, kind of split it up, and you can have a really nice itinerary. And then here's this last question that I got from Rosalie, and this is a really, really interesting one because it's something that I've been talking about a little bit with friends lately and seeing in some different places as well. But Rosalie says, glad I started following recently. This is perfect as we plan our trip/honeymoon for March. So we're coming up pretty soon here. And first of all, congratulations. For the next Q&A video topic, based on previous videos and food recommendations, it seems that Barcelona has a big drinking culture, and as two sober travelers, I was wondering your best suggestions on navigating this while still wanting to experience the best food spots around town. And this is what I was saying, I think is a really interesting question, because a lot of times people come over here, you know, vegetarians, vegans, and seeing the ham and everything, they never know kind of what they can eat, what they can do. But also, if you're not drinking, it is something that is very much wrapped up in the culture, and it doesn't have to be something where you're just going out and drinking heavily and everything, but realistically, it is something that's kind of just like offered at the table. So for example, wines in the past were never something that was seen as something like a big delicacy or anything. It was just part of the meal. Beers and vermouths and all sorts of different things like cavas are always around. So when you see all of those videos, you kind of always see someone having maybe a little drink or something like that. But it's not something that you have to do. And actually one of the big things, and I even had one just last night, but what you can get is a beer without alcohol. And that's not seen as something weird. Kind of when I'm over in the States and everything, I feel like if you saw somebody order a non-alcoholic beer, that would be a weird kind of signal just to see in general. But over here, it's very, very accepted. So you have all sorts of options for that non-alcoholic beverages going around. But realistically, if we're even getting away from all of that, grab a Coke, grab a water, grab a sparkling water or anything like that. it's not something that is really people are worrying about too much. So if you don't want to come over here and drink wines and beers and cavas and everything like that with your food, which realistically I think you're missing out, but that's just me. I have a great time just kind of experiencing all of that. But if you don't want to, don't worry about it. Have a Coke, have water, have whatever you want, and you're still going to have a great time. So that's it for the Q&A video this month. Remember that if you have any other questions that you want me to answer in a future Q&A video, send those over to me, private message me, leave them in the description below, or fill out that form that you have in the description of the video, and check out some of my other videos so you can get ready for that next trip to Barcelona.